Hello everybody, it's Andrew Howard from Boating New Zealand here. Today we're out testing the Profab 1200, which is a Roger Hill designed power cat. It has twin Mercury V12 600 horsepower engines on the back, and they are a sight to behold. Walking up to the Profab 1200 asymmetric planing power cat on the marina berth, the inner Jeremy Clarkson just couldn't help but beam a naughty boy's grin when seeing the beautiful pair of Mercury V12 600 horsepower outboards sitting quietly on the stern, just waiting to be woken and set loose. The immediate thoughts of calling for flank speed set the scene for the testing session of this aluminium built craft. Flank speed is typically reserved for situations in which a ship is in imminent danger, such as being attacked by enemy aircraft, but in this case flank speed probably just means the fish are biting up the coast, so let's go and get them. Palmerston North is typically known for its university, being the centre of agriculture and farming, and the wind farm. But having tested the Profab 1200, a Roger Hill power cat design, it should also be known for boat building. Profab Central Engineering is a boat building company with a growing list of exceptional custom-built boats to their name. Many of their vessels are commercial workhorses that we see all over New Zealand's waters, but there are also super yachts and recreational vessels on their resume of results. Some are infamous to many in the boating scene and others are more discreet. The Profab 1200 design will probably be one of their more discreet builds, but it will be noticed when it blasts past at over 45 knots without leaving much of a wake. This design is also available in shaft drive engine configuration. Roger Hill Yacht Design was commissioned to create the design. The power catamaran expert designed the Profab 1200 with a between hull foil to create lift and give fuel economy. However, the owners of this particular build intend to keep the boat on a custom-built trailer at their property in the Bay of Islands, so this build doesn't actually have the foil. Early designs of power catamarans had a few inherent issues that made some of the early designs uncomfortable to use. During our on-the-water test of the Profab 1200, it became clear that the challenges typically found in a power catamaran have been mitigated completely. The hull performance was staggeringly good. The grip was unbelievable and a real testament to Hill's expertise. Furthering the heritage of the Verado engine family, Mercury's re-imaged outboard performance to deliver the most powerful, innovative outboard in Mercury's history. The quad-cam 7.6 litre V12 600 horsepower Verado is stunning. The transmission tested just as it promised it should. The first gear has a 2.5:1 ratio, providing immediate access to an enormous torque and acceleration. The second gear has a ratio of 3.0:1, which is automatically and silently selected, helping create some serious top speeds. The gear shift is so smooth it takes a lot of concentration to know that the gear change even happened. There's no clunking involved. The steerable gear case, controlled by electric hydraulic controls, is very responsive. But the highlight of this innovation was just how much transom space it saves. It means that the engines don't need space to turn, and when it speeds below 10 knots, the gear case and propellers can move up to 45 degrees to the left or the right, which, when compared to 35 degrees for a typical outboard, the manoeuvrability is next level. These engines have an innovative exhaust bypass. This means that when at idle, the exhaust is above the waterline, but when underway, the exhaust becomes an underwater solution. The result was a quietness we were not expecting, and during the testing session, running at 30 knots, we could converse without shouting at each other. This noise level differs from our usual experience when standing next to 1200 horsepower. The control box for the engines is new and easy to use. The next generation DTS digital throttle controls, activation buttons, automatic trim controls and the screen make using the boat straightforward. The autopilot is integrated into the joystick, which has skyhook technology. This joystick and its features were impressively simple to learn and to use. These engines have been available for about 2 years now and are often the headline act at any boat show. They are super cool and an excellent power option for the Profab 1200, which can also be configured with a pair of inboard engines. But with this setup giving over 45 knots during the testing session, it is a combination worth looking at. The displacement hulls launch out of the water like they're trying to fly to the moon. The boat moves so smoothly that we were surprised how quickly we were moving across the water with such ease. The ride was brilliantly comfortable. There was no roll or high siding when turning at speed either. We tried to make it happen, and for a vessel weighing close to 12 tonne with water and fuel on board, it was insightful just how good these asymmetric hulls are. Being 13 metres length overall with a beam of 4.69 metres, this design will fit into a standard 15 metre berth. In fast cruise mode, at 5,000 RPM and 32 knots, the fuel burn was just 90 litres per hour per engine. When we reduced the speed to 25 knots, which felt relatively pedestrian during the test, the fuel burn reduced 60 litres per hour per engine. The planing speed was approximately 14 knots, and the ride felt balanced without any stern drag. The rear cockpit is spacious, teak-lined and with huge storage areas underneath. Plenty of space for the toys and a dive bottle compressor. In the rear cockpit there is a significant day head and shower. This is a great way to keep salt, water, sand and dirt out of the main living areas of the boat. The transom area is so large it has its own lounger unit facing out past the engines. Walking around the boat's sides is easy, thanks to the large steps up each side, and the bow area is enormous. Certainly plenty of space to lay out and relax for a few hours. The roof area is made of composite materials rather than aluminium, and is home to the typical array of accessories like a radar unit. The roof has built-in tie-down shackles, making it an easy place to store kayaks or stand-up paddleboards. The galley is spacious, generous in bench space, and has a sizable Force 10 oven and hob unit. The refrigeration unit is comprised of a standard isotherm fridge under the galley bench, a pull-out drinks fridge under the captain's seat, and a large freezer outside in the rear cockpit. The dining table felt well proportioned, and where the saloon meets the rear cockpit, the bifolding doors and electrically operated window open up the space. When using the boat controls, housed centrally in the main saloon, it feels like you're sitting in a combing station. It's slightly elevated and with complete visibility around the entire craft. The dashboard layout was practical and very clean, using C-Zone technology. The starboard hull has a full-size queen bed in the master cabin. There is plenty of storage and hanging space in here too. The starboard hull also houses a full-size head, shower and wet room. The port hull has two single beds in the forward cabin. And a single-size bed in the aft starboard cabin. In summary, when testing a boat, we try to be impartial, but there was something special about this boat. The design, the performance and the build exceeded expectations. After the on-the-water testing session, we were not ready to take leave and wondered how we could get ourselves invited back on board again.
John Ecclestone from Boating New Zealand. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to see more of these videos, please subscribe to our channel.